changed different now, got the cheat code. Lottie, I just watching, you ain't got the cheat code. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Game changed different now, got the cheat.
All right, welcome back to my channel. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Goddess Giselle tuning into my podcast. I'm so excited to bring you yet another phenomenal woman making an impact in her community. Before we get started, if you're new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these powerful conversations where I highlight women who are pretty much just awesome. And I want to share their story with you. I think every woman has a story. And today we're going to tap in with my lovely friend, Nancy. And this is episode 4. So, hi, Nancy. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. I too believe in the power of sharing stories. Every woman certainly has a story, and I can't wait to share mine.
Yeah, so exciting. So we're just going to jump right into it. Nancy, if you could tell the viewers without a doubt your name, your location, and a little bit about your profession and career. So what you do for a living and your family life. So which hats do you wear in your family?
Yeah, so my name is Nancy Taiye Aragbaye. I am Nigerian American. I actually claim dual residency. So I'm an LA girl. I will never give up my LA card, but I live here in Atlanta and I absolutely love Atlanta. It is home to me. So yeah, I claim 2 regions, girl, West Coast and East Coast.
And 2 countries.
Yes.
Love that.
So what do? I do a lot. So I'm a global impact strategist. Impact is like everything that I believe in. That's just where my work stems, is just from how can I continue to make impact on this earth. But I also believe in impact on a global scale. So a global impact strategist. I'm the founder of a LeadHERship Institute called Strategic Solutions Global, and also a founding director here in Atlanta for an organization called the Hidden Genius Project, along with being a global speaker.
And that's why you are here. I just love to see it. And honestly, the image is everything. And I love how you talked about being a global citizen, a global impact, because today I really want to tap into that global mindset, helping my audience and myself think bigger, right? And you, in my opinion, are when I know this, but you're an expert in this area of expertise of being a global citizen with global impact, thinking bigger, right? And I know recently I went out of town, went up to the East Coast to DC, and then I came back home to Atlanta, and I was just like, oh, the South is just so much different than, let's say, DC, right? All areas and regions have differences, but what I noticed was that I just thought, okay, the South has so many different attributes and things like that. And I got a little discouraged a little bit because I felt like I was limiting myself and my mindset to the South. But then when I talked to my husband, he was like, the United States is actually located in North America. So we're technically in North America. So this southern region is still a very small concept and a small mind when you're thinking globally. So Nancy, and then before we jump into the conversation, one comment on your family life. So you married, mother, things like that.
Yeah, so I am a mom of a 9-year-old princess who is my mini me. And she a big part of like the work that I do, I wanted her to see me happy, and I wanted her to see me being my fullest self. And I have a partner. We'll be getting married soon. He gonna propose soon. But yeah, so yeah.
Nice. Okay. And I like to lay that landscape because really the foundation of this platform is to highlight women wearing multiple hats, whether they're wives or mothers, and how the modern woman adapts to those changing titles while also pursuing her own goals, but also being a mother and being a wife or being a partner, and really just finding balance, because it's hard, or it can be hard.
Absolutely.
So before we jump into that, so it is going to be a little personal. So thank you for your vulnerability. Talk to me about how important it is to have the right mindset when you're having big dreams. Like what does mindset mean to you, and how important is that to actually reaching and achieving your goals?
Mindset is everything. I remember, so I started this work, I would say serious, around 2019. And I remember everyone would be asking, oh, how do you do X, Y, and Z? Or what's the first thing I can do with entrepreneurship? And I would say, get your mind right. Like that's the first thing that I say. And it's funny that you asked me this question. I have a friend who's extremely brilliant, and she just shared with me that she became an executive director recently.
Wow.
And I told her she deserved it. And I'm like, girl, like, congrats, you deserve it. Like, you are phenomenal. And she had talked about how her confidence has been limiting what she's able to do. The moment you find out that you're unstoppable and you literally can't do anything, there's nothing that you won't be able to do. So going back to mindset, why is that important? It's critical because, again, I'm always thinking about impact. I always think about disrupting. I always think about living my fullest life, fulfilling my purpose here on earth. But it's limited if you don't understand who you are. Oftentimes, life will challenge you and make you think otherwise. And you're going to have the mindset that allows you to reaffirm yourself and who you are so you can do what you're supposed to do. So it's
that's a price break right there, because I feel like women, when I first talked to you, Nancy, story time. So I met Nancy from her work, right? So I met her through her work. I was in a Forbes Black is what I was a part, or I'm still a part of, but I was in Forbes Black. I saw someone speaking about this gala, which we'll dive into a little later in our conversation. And I went to Instagram to get more info. Then I came across the creator, which is you, Nancy. And I was just blown away at our first conversation. I felt like I left that conversation inspired fully. I was like, okay, I can take over the world because I just talked to Nancy. So the mindset, even it's infectious, right? The mindset, it just helped me change the way I was viewing myself, and also just being able to identify with someone who was on the similar path, but on their own journey. So tell me a little bit about how you got inspired to start the work. I know you said your daughter inspired you, you wanted her to see you happy, but you're an LA girl and now you're in Atlanta. What are your connections to the South? Like, talk to me about your story.
So thank you for asking. And I always share everything that I do is guided by the Holy Spirit. That's just number one. That's just me, and it's not, I don't have a Christian-based org by any means. However, I'm a very intuitive leader. So my intuition guides me in everything that I do from the beginning. So how did I get to the South, girl? I went to Tuskegee University. So played basketball in California. I was recruited to actually play at a school in Alaska. And I actually had a dream that was like, you need to be at Tuskegee. And I woke up and I was like, Dad, I'm going to Tuskegee.
Wow. Did anybody in your family go to Tuskegee? No. You're the first. You're the first HBCU Tuskegee woman. Wow. Yeah,
I went to the South like by myself. And so I've always been a person that's been very intuitive, and I follow intuition. I had a conversation with somebody saying, your intuition is so powerful. We don't talk about it, but if you look at the definition, it's instinctively knowing without any reason. So there is no logical reason, you just know. So to know something without reason is really powerful, and our intuition knows so much more than we do. So I've just been a person who's kind of just always followed it. It led me to Tuskegee. And it also led me to apply for a program called Teach for America, which landed me in Atlanta.
Nice.
And since then, I fell in love with Atlanta. Like, Atlanta is just, it's been my second home, and led me on a journey of like education. And then education exposed me to some of the challenges that were in the education system, which led me to the business that I lead now, and then also the nonprofit that I am directing as well. So it's been a journey, but yeah, I'm intuition girl. That's how I got here.
So how can women, because one thing about intuition, I know that it is innate, right? It's something that is inside of us. You can't go to school to get a better intuition. Like, it's something that is unseen. But I feel like some women have challenges when it comes to tapping into their own intuitive energy, which I would also describe as their feminine energy, like their natural, innate, God-given feminine energy. And we see a lot of conversations about women struggling with tapping into that or being able to stay connected with themselves. So do you have any advice or tips on how women can tap into their intuition more?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to do is read the definition because
Okay.
it's really powerful. So it says intuition's the ability to understand something immediately without a need for conscious reasoning. So that definition alone is so powerful when we understand that we are spiritual beings. So there is something inside of us that just knows more than anything our rational mind could ever imagine. So essentially, our intuition is always right. Now, what I will say is we don't spend enough time with ourselves. And so a lot of us we can't even identify the voice. We are so distracted by the world and what's going on. And we wake up and we got work and we don't have a child and a husband and, all these things. And then you go to sleep and then you wake up and you do it all over again.
Yeah.
And so what I would offer any woman who wants to really tap into her feminine energy, into her intuition, is to spend time with yourself without distraction. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's creating a routine of meditation, whether that looks like every Thursday night you spend 30 minutes before you go to bed, just silent, whatever it is, do that, because you'll start to hear the internal voice that will guide you in whatever direction you're supposed to go. But what I will say is make sure you honor it. There's a level of faith I have with my intuition. So I know my intuition's always right because it knows immediately without conscious reasoning. And so I've been able to combat fear with the knowing that my intuition is always right, because oftentimes it does go against the rational mind. So when I planned the gala in 2022, and I told my friends the city will sponsor it, not only did I not plan a gala, I've never been to one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but my intuition told me that. And so I follow that. And that sounds crazy. And it is crazy right? So my intuition just knew, and I honored it. I followed it. And Lord and behold, you were at it. And that's how we got connected. So it's so powerful. It's a whole entire thing that I can spend hours talking about. But yeah, that's what I would offer: silence, stillness, being with yourself, and learn the voice.
Okay, so you heard that. Look, literally, you hear this. This is our voice that's talking, but find your voice. And that's kind of why I created one of my platforms. My blog is really just to help people find their voice, because those voices are channeling from within. But like you said, especially with social media and so many other distractions and images trying to tell you who you are, even though that's not who you are, and that is powerful. So, Nancy, how do you fight back when you are faced with challenges? So I'm gonna just give us a story time on it probably could be in relation to this gala, because y'all, the gala is a thing. The thing is popping. I'm gonna release all the details. I'm blown away. My husband was blown away. We was in there like little kids, like, who coming next? What's about to happen next? And the execution was just like amazing. And this was last year that I went to the 2023. But I could only imagine how many challenges you faced just trying to bring that together. So talk to me a little bit about how you face challenges and what do you do to like pick yourself back up and to keep going?
Yeah, there's a phrase that I often say to myself. So I had so many challenges, girl, but what I often do, which typically gets me through, I tell myself to lead with vision, not by circumstance. And I literally, that is my affirmation to myself. So what I would say to someone, there's 12 to 66,000 thoughts come through a person's mind every single day. 95% of them are repetitive. And I think it's 96%, something like that. It's in the 90s though, are repetitive. And so we have repetitive negative thoughts that come through our mind, whether it's fear, whether it's looking stupid, whether it's shame, all of these thoughts that come to our mind. So if we're not intentional about fighting that, you will get stuck. You will not achieve because a lot of this stuff is very difficult. So what I do, I whisper to myself. Sometimes I say it out loud. I take a deep breath. And I'm like, lead with vision, not by circumstance. Like, what did you see? What is your intuition telling you? What is your spirit saying? Follow that. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what my bank account looks like. I don't care what people are saying. Follow the thing. And I'll say here, I am building a tech company. So Strategic Solutions Global is a LeadHERship Institute. And I tell people it's going to be $1 billion tech company. There's nobody on this planet who can tell me otherwise. And I truly believe that. But in the moments where I'm stuck or I'm having a hard time or I'm like, what the heck is next? I tell myself to lead with vision, not by circumstance, because that's the vision that I received. So that's what I will say. But sometimes that doesn't work. So the gala came. I remember I was on the floor and I was crying and I was like, God, you got the wrong one. Like, I'm not her. I just want to be regular. Why do I have all these visions? I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to go home and take care of my kids and get married. That just give me a regular life.
Yeah.
And I, you know what? I called my mom. I called my mother. So I had someone that I can turn to. So it's important to have a community, whether it's family, friends, somebody who believes in what you're doing that can help you navigate the current challenge that you're in. So I was like, Mom, I'm done. I'm tapped. Can you pray for me? I couldn't even pray for myself. That's how good I was. And so my mother prayed for my mom and my dad. Actually, they prayed with me and for me. And about 48 hours later, I was like, I just had this breakthrough and I was able to like come back with it. And then things just started happening. And I'd say God did the gala because I don't even know how I was able to pull it off. But everything I needed came to me. And so we just have to be able to get through those valleys. You need affirmation, you need both. You need affirmation and you need a community.
Okay.
Like, you can't do this work alone. You can't do tough things alone. And I wish people would stop thinking they can navigate this road as self-made. Like, good luck. You're not going to get far if you think this is a self-made world. So I'm thankful for my tribe. I have a good group of friends, not a lot, but core ones that will push me when I can't push myself. And then most importantly, my family, my siblings.
Wow. Yes. Girl, you said you can't do it by yourself. And that ain't nothing but the truth, because I recall a timeline, because I love to talk in timelines. There was a timeline where we were being pushed the marketing of the girl boss, right? So think 2010 to 2020. So we had, I think, Sophia R. I can't remember her last name, but she was girl boss down. Like, this was a whole toxic culture that was really pushed on, I believe, millennial women to kind of do it all, start the business, go big, go hard. You can do what he can do. They were telling a tale. It's just not true. We have a defined way of doing things when it comes to your femininity, because the feminine, like you said, with intuition, we don't have to push, go, go, go. You could just sit back and say, God, just make a way. And then the way will be made for you. So there's something about being vulnerable and really releasing that control. Look, that's a word right there.
It was.
Release control, because especially for the girls who are, I'm gonna call us high achievers. Nancy, that's you. I think everybody on this show is a high achiever in their own right. But at some point, we just have to release. Just let it go.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I say there is a fine line between ego and impact.
Ooh.
And I found myself treading the line. And I would call myself a humble person. And oftentimes God has a way of showing me my pride. So I'll give you an example, because you said release and relinquishing control. I didn't realize I was type A until like a couple months ago.
Really? It took that long?
Yeah, it took all these at my big age. I realized
it's so funny.
Hey, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, you got to just accept who you are, Nancy. What I will say, last year when I was planning the gala, driving, and I had anxiety at the highest level. I'm talking about like heart palpitations, like, am I going to pull this off? It's not looking right. And so the Holy Spirit is like, why are you so anxious? And it was, and then I'm literally, it's just like my intuition, like we just having a conversation back and forth. And I was like, because like, what if I don't pull off the gala?
Mm-hmm.
And then it said, so what? And I said, and I was like, huh? And I said, but East Point sponsored. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
but so what? And I was like, well, I would be embarrassed. Like, and it was like, but the vision's not yours.
Mm.
So that was all I needed to hear, because in that moment, I made it about me.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot what it was for. It was all about protecting my image and protecting Nancy and not being embarrassed and possibly having shame. And what if they're mad and all of these things? That's like, girl, you can't even, so what?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say visions don't come from us. Like, we are created to do higher things, whatever you believe, a higher power, a higher source, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about where your source is, but visions come from a spiritual place, and they're for people. A vision about impact, like your life should be for other people. And yes, we get rewarded for it, and oftentimes it comes in financial
Mm-hmm.
and praises and all of these things and fame, but it's really about people, and it's really about achieving what you were created to do. And so in that moment, I realized that I was holding on from an egotistical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I still cared, it was for people. I was like, your ego's in the way, girl. You over here fighting it and all this. When you just let go, and when it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen.
Right.
And I finally just let go. The moment I let go, like I was like, here, God, I don't even want to do it no more. Like, release it to the universe, and whatever
Yeah.
you wants to do with it, that's what's going to happen. And I was very freeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment the momentum began to pick up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plot twist right there. Let it go. And if it comes back, it's going to come back better, bigger, and really for you with your signature on it, because you let up a little bit. It's like, ease up a little bit, girl,
check
ease.
your ego.
Check your ego.
I always tell people, and I do it a lot, because in moments where I'm frustrated, or I'm like, man, you're not even doing it right. Or sometimes I'm at work and I'm frustrated with people's, work habits and things like that. I check myself and say, where is that stemming from?
Mm-hmm.
So check your ego. Again, some people want to make impact, but it ends up being about self-gratification. And can I actually do this? Or can I do more? It becomes about yourself versus about the people. So it's a fine line to tread. So always check your ego to make sure that you're doing it for people. And when you're doing it for people, it's easier to kind of just let go, because you're not in control, and whatever happens, happens. Do your best and let the universe do the rest.
That's it. Okay, that's a tweet. Do your best. Let the universe do the rest. Period. I love it. That's the vibes. Like, I wish I could. Well, I don't. See, I released that. Why am I trying to hold on to a thought that I wish I had in the past? That don't make no sense. Like, just be present and let it go. So thank you for the wisdom. I appreciate that. And I want to tap a little bit into this global conversation. I'm going to ask a question that I know is going to get you fired up. So we're going to do that.
Okay, let's do it.
What happens when a woman is supported?
I think it's limitless possibilities, to be honest. I think about, and let me get into the bag of a Black woman, and her bag of impact. We do so much with so little.
We do.
I mean, it's really like magic. Like, Black girl magic is very, very real. And for me, our stories are extremely important. So platforms like this are important. As many people that you can share stories with, it's important, because when a Black woman is supported, I mean, I literally think our power is truly limitless. I'm not saying this because for a cloud or because it sounds good. It's because I see it every single day. I see what Black women are doing. I'm seeing make magic happen with limited resources. I'm seeing the impact that they're making with no support, with no money, with
Yep.
nothing but a vision and like some straight up gutter energy, like just ready to go, you know? And so someone like that who's supported, it's like, what you mean? Anything is possible.
Exactly.
So yeah, I believe that.
I believe it too. And I remember when we first talked and we talked about your true personal mission, which was what you shared earlier, really just making an impact and leaving your mark on the world. And how many people can you reach? How many women can you reach just doing you, right?
Yeah.
Nothing, it won't be anything outside of you, but you are the source code to the change that we're looking to see in the world. And although, and I've seen it too, like Black women, we killing it, right? But how do we get our power back and make sure that we're charging ourselves up? Because what I've experienced, and I think the whole world experienced before 2020, let's just say everybody's going, moving, going, we're traveling, we're doing this, just doing it big, whatever. Then 2020 happened, and the earth, who I believe is probably a Black woman, but let's just say a feminine, this feminine energy who is the creator source of the earth, fire, water. We saw what Mother Nature can do just recently, right? She got tired of everybody using her power, taking her resources, trying to gain from her energy. And I'm talking about Mother Earth, and then not giving anything back to her so that she can be replenished. Like we had to go from, you know, extracting the resources from the planet to giving back to the planet, living in the circadian rhythm of the planet, being more natural to ourselves so that we can really inhabit this planet in a more loving and healthy and nurturing way. So it happened in the actual physical realm, like I said, with the 2020 world that happened in 2020. And we're really just now continuing to adjust to try to figure out how we're supposed to be living on this new planet. And I like to call it the new earth. One of the traits of the new earth is we're built off of collaboration and love and unity and really that feminine energy. And we see the divine feminine rising. So I saw maybe like in 2014, I noticed like, okay, it's a lot of women starting businesses. I love this. And like, I've been in the industry for a while, but then I saw even more women starting businesses. Then I saw more women just changing the landscape of womanhood. And they're like, okay, I have children, but I want to do this. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to be empowered. I'm going to like get my power and reclaim my power, reclaim my rest, right? And just different things that really taking our power back, basically. So Nancy, what do you think? How can a woman, because there could be a negative side to that, right? Because if we're saving the world, and y'all know how politics and all these different industries try to get corporate America, they try to get Black women to come save the world and rescue the world. And then when she is like, who's going to rescue me? Who's going to help me be like, you know, I want to lay down. I'm a queen. I want to just sit on my throne at times. What can a woman do to reclaim her power? And that might look like self-love, balancing, and just making sure you're keeping your power within so that you're not just depleting yourself of you, because your energy is so valuable to yourself. It's more valuable to yourself than it is to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Nancy, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, so we know we got the power, but how do we keep the power internal so that we don't get sick and, you know, just basically take our power away and then be running on E?
Yeah, if I were to turn this into a formula, I would say it's three things. One, authentic connections. We have to be really intentional about meeting people who are authentic.
Okay.
And show up as authentic and make those authentic connections. Two, community. The people that you're building these connections with, nurturing it through community. Okay. So again, I talked about how I couldn't do this without my tribe. So my friends, my mother, my siblings were able to help me restore my power because they know my power, they see my power, and they really want me to win. So we operate in this authenticity that allow them to actually like fuel me when I was depleted. And then 3, care. So authentic connection, community, and care. And I need us to stop thinking self-care is like going on brunches and getting our nails and our hair done. As much as I love to do those things,
Okay.
we need to be intentional about rest and restoration.
Okay.
And so, and I'll give an example. This is all through revelation. My friend had a birthday in Bali, and I was so damn busy. I mean, trip paid for and everything. I almost canceled. This is crazy. That's how busy I was. Making impact and working and nonprofit this and planning on that and traveling and doing all these things. But when it came time to go to Bali for rest, I said I was too busy.
Crazy.
I make it to Bali, and I had so many revelations actually. And again, it was my ego check, and my intuition goes, why do you think you're too good to rest? Like, who do you think you are that you think that you don't have to rest? Like, how egotistical are you? And I was like, ooh. And it was like, at the end of the day, everything belongs to the universe.
True.
So at the end, it's not really you. And I was like, huh, okay, cool. So through that, my time in Bali, girl, so I had such clarity. The pause was truly revolutionary. Like, rest is revolutionary. And I'll tell you the things that happened. Like,
Ooh, I
this
love
is really
that.
a little testimony, y'all. Let me tell you what happened through rest.
Okay.
Through care. I had so much clarity. So I found ego and pride and all of these little things. I would say I had like heightened spirituality. And 3, I found my life partner. And I'll tell you why. When I got to Bali, the spirit was like, you need to create an environment of rest. You need to go home and you need to order all this, go create. So I go home, girl. It was like a button pushing me, and I ordered all of this furniture and I scheduled it from Wayfair. And the delivery man had a friend. Like, oh, and we had alignment in our work. I don't know how I started randomly talking to the delivery man, but ordered a delivery man. The delivery man comes, puts my stuff together, and asked me a few questions. And it was through me going to Bali and listening to my spirit that told me to come home and basically create an environment of rest, get some new furniture, that I met my life partner. So rest is truly revolutionary. It's revelations. Rest gives you revelation and clarity and creativity, all of that you need. So we really truly need to,
Not, hold up. You said you met your what? Your life partner, your future husband.
My future husband.
Y'all just ain't official, but that's your man, honey.
Yes, my man.
I love that. Yes.
Through rest, girl, through rest. So listen, y'all ladies, if you see you need to get some rest. That's the problem. You're not resting.
Listen, you better go home and go order you some furniture and sit your butt down, okay? And you better manifest right now. God, send them to me. And then, listen, y'all ain't gonna believe how, like, and I'm an advocate, a strong advocate for love. Like, I wrote a poem in 2020, which was, again, we were all being by the planet. She was like, all right, everybody, get in formation. You need to get in your purpose, okay? I don't care if you are working at a job you hate and you like to bake cakes, you better go bake them cakes. Okay, if you love children, but you're working as a lawyer, you better go start a nonprofit to help children. Like, we have been called to help the planet heal and help her ascend, because that's part of our duty. We're on the planet for a reason, y'all. It's funny you say you met your partner. I love that. Now that's a good story right there, girl. Yes. How about mine was similar, where, long story short, I was on my own self-love journey, because I had lost someone in my life, or I should say she was released back to God, back to the universe, to the ancestral realm. And when she transcended or ascended to the next realm, I felt the loss of her love. But then I said, Spirit said to fill yourself back up with the love that is for you. And when you do that, then other love will come back into your life. right? And so I adopted a cat. That was like a start, right? I adopted a cat and I love him so much, and he's still walking around here now. But that moment helped me kind of position myself like, okay, like you said earlier, your friend deserves this promotion. I deserve love in the physical realm. I'm very spiritual, but sometimes I kind of don't align that much with the physical realm because sometimes it's very dense. It's like, okay, you get your hair done. That's physical. That's going to make you feel really good. Trust me. And so I was in therapy, like grief therapy at the time. And it's so funny. I had a male therapist and I came in, I told him my whole story. I had been going to him maybe once or twice, told him my whole little story. And it was really just family stuff that was out of my control. And he really encouraged me to release that. He's like, release them in that because that don't really got nothing to do with you. And it's not something that you could control. These are grown-ups. This is how they are. He's like, do you date? And I was like, you know what? I do, but not for real. Like, I haven't really dated like that. And he was like, after I'm finished working with you, I'm going to help you. You're going to find your husband. I was like, therapist, what we going to do next, you know? And of course, the conversation was very insightful. We talked about all the other stuff, but he did put that in there because he could see that, you know, I was lacking, not thinking of myself, not prioritizing myself. I was giving my power away. And kid you not, so therapy, which is a form of rest, 30 days later, I met my husband.
Shut up.
We've been married for 5 years.
You found your husband through grief therapy.
Yep, basically. And I knew him already. So we had dated back in the day. This was like on MySpace, y'all. So if you know, you know. Years ago. Okay, I'm a digital girl. So we dated back when I was in college. But then 10 years later, we actually matched on Tinder. Wow. And this was back when online dating was still kind of like, I don't know, but I'm very futuristic. So this was like 2017. So Tinder really had just came out.
Yeah,
it was you see it
like kind of still a little weird.
Yeah, like, it wasn't so widespread, but I'm an early adopter. So that's another thing, girl. If you know, you know. If you want to think ahead, don't try to wait on other people to hop on the wave. Sometimes you are the trendsetter. So he and I both are kind of digital, very tech savvy. So we was on Tinder and we also were on MySpace when I was like 19, 18. Wow. So we met again. So the algorithm brought us together and we've been together ever since. So I love what you said about rest. I found my rest. I said, Giselle, sit down somewhere.
Sit down.
Sit down. You ain't got to go outside to meet him. You can manifest him or them, whoever you trying to be with, through your own intentions. Like it's you. We are the ones who create this reality for us. If you affirm it, if that's what you want. Oh, he said, oh, I'm gonna have your husband. The next day I was like, all right, I'm about to be a wife. I was like, I'm ready to be a wife. Let's do it. And then I actually started dating intentionally. And I met several gentlemen who were very, you know, good suitors. So I was like, I can't believe I was wasting all this time like dating without intention and just kind of, you know, like whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just hanging out, having fun. But then when I decided in my mind, like you said, with the vision, if you envision yourself of being a wife or a mother or a businesswoman or a creative entrepreneur or a global strategist, if you can see it, then you can bring it to pass, like with your own intention. And so I love to hear you, girl, Nancy. That's so fun. See, okay, that's perfect. So I'm just gonna sit that there and say, yeah, y'all rest. If you try to manifest your boo, learn how to rest, and that's also your feminine energy, and then that gets you in receive mode so that you can receive. See, I get excited when I start talking about love, so that you can receive what is for you. So thank you for that. I love that. I want to pivot a little bit talk about this global mindset. I got 2 questions. One, I want to just be blunt. Okay, Nancy, listen. I feel like you do a great job at like bringing your full self to your work, to you. There is no other. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there is no other for me. Yeah, you're right.
Why did I have others? Meaning, I am learning, and I think a lot of people who are trying to ascend and really like be their authentic selves, that's what you call it, authentic connections, decolonizing our mind. Because colonization is not just preference. I'm talking about Black folks, because you could prefer certain things that might just really be Eurocentric BS, right? And I don't really have an example off the top of my head, but let's just say there are certain things that are truly colonization of our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking to have you share insights on how to decolonize your mind. Let's just say code switching, for example, especially here in the South. And see, that's where that Southern mindset comes in. Like, you're from LA, you're probably like, what are you talking about? Code switching. Like, yeah, thank you. Whatever. I don't code switch. I used to, but I stopped back in like 2017 because I was like, girl, bye. And I just want to be more authentic in all that I do. So let's talk about how to decolonize your mind so that you can be your full self. You shared earlier, I am Nigerian American. That is my origin. That is my native self. I am claim Nigeria. I am American. I am that in one. Like, how do we as a people or as women, whoever's watching, decolonize your mind so that you could just be you at all times and not feeling like you have to do anything other than be yourself? Like, removing oppression and institutionalization and different things that are created to really keep you in a sunken place. I'm gonna call it that, like on the movie Get Out. That was a satire, but I feel like it's kind of true. And I have been I don't have that anymore, but I feel like now there's a time where if you're not authentically you, then you're not going to be able to exist in this new world. And that's the new world that I spoke of, like post 2020. So do you have any, first of all, does that make any sense? And then two, if you could speak to it a little bit and kind of enlighten the audience, because decolonization, I need to hear about it. Nancy, talk to me.
Yeah, so I think it's two things, actually. One, we have to have an identity. So how do I identify? I identify as a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Nigerian American woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am a lover of Christ. Like, that's how I show up. I don't care where I am. It don't matter. I can be talking to Obama. I could be at a Satan gathering. It can be at a mosque. Like, this is just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not judging you for your identity and how you identify. And nor should you judge me. And if you judge me, I actually don't care.
Yep.
It's just who I am. So I show up as Nancy in how I identify regardless of where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing I do, I also show up in my values. So I think a lot of us, we're not tied to values, so we will fall for anything or we'll become chameleons. But my core values as a person, integrity, justice, family, creativity, innovation, like, that's who I am. Boldness. Oh, bold. Okay. It don't matter who you are. Leadership. That's who I am. That's what I believe. And so you say about code switching. Now, for me, I look at code switching like teaching or another language. So in France, I got to speak French. In Italy, I got to speak Italian. And in America, I speak English, right? And I have one language, by the way, if anyone was thinking. But I say all that to say, I may have to code switch, but I will never compromise myself. So the moment I think I can't show up as a Black Nigerian woman who loves the Lord, I need to check myself, and I need to move my environment. If I ever feel like my integrity compass is compromised, justice compass is being compromised, I can't be creative anymore. Someone's trying to mute me and I can't be
Yeah.
bold. Like, no, 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 no. I gotta change my environment.
Okay.
So that's how I am. So I will always be authentic to myself because I know who I am and I know what I stand for. And so nothing could ever change that. And that's what guides me. And it's my compass. It's a filter. I actually filter my life through my identity and through my values. And it's very helpful. So I was at work the other day, like, can I be here? I feel like this place is making me compromise who I am. I'm outspoken. Can I speak up here? Like I was having these conversations and trying to filter or not if this is the space I got to be, because no one will ever silence me.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, that's who I am. And the moment I feel like I can't be who I am, I'm out.
Deuces. It's real easy to walk away. I just walk like, bye. Keep it moving because it's so much more. What you said, God has so much more for you. And it is challenging to navigate. And I've seen so many Black women in particular in leadership positions and, you know, be outspoken, be themselves. I love Carolyn Wanga. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yes, her. She's the CEO or chief CEO at Essence magazine. And when I tell you she represents herself in her fullness, and it ain't no let her, honey. She is her, and you either eat it or you spit it out. And I love how she goes there every time, just with her, the way she presents herself to the world. And women like her, women like you, and I'm sure people might say women like me because I don't code switch. I'm who I am, you know, and I am from the Valley. Nancy, is LA considered the Valley?
Yeah. No. Well, there's a part of the Valley that's in LA. So yeah.
Okay.
Valley girl.
Okay. I'm a Valley girl too. So it's like partly, I mean, that's where I'm from, right? I'm from Huntsville, but it's the Valley. And so a lot of girls talk like this. That's how we talk. And it's like, why is she talking like that? I'm like, talking like what? Like where I'm from, this is how everybody talks. And so speech is only a very small part of it. And I just love that we are just growing and expanding because that's really what it's all about. So before I got another question, I want to ask you, because I know the work that you do is global, right? We're talking about the United States right now, but your work reaches the world. It's a global impact. You're thinking world impact. And I really admire that because I think that's something that we as a people, all people, just to say Americans, even as a collective, so not just Black Americans, but the American culture has been so sheltered from the rest of the world. And if you really want to make an impact, you got to get beyond your borders, right? Which I love that. Somebody needs to steal that to make something of that. But when you get beyond your borders, you can really see who you are or just see a different lens of who you are and what your purpose, like you being there is just enough. I remember when I traveled to Jerusalem, which was a one-time thing, but when I went, everyone was just so shocked that I was even there. Like, not necessarily because I was a Black woman, but more so, like you said, Nancy, I was just myself. Like I'm in my authenticity. I'm just who I am. And they thought I was Brazilian. They thought I was all these different things. I'm like, girl, I'm from Alabama, I'm from USA. I had to keep saying that. But how can someone who maybe they're in Philly, they never left Philly, and they got big dreams and they want to go all over the world, but due to resources, they may not be able to just hop on a plane and go do whatever. What's some of the first steps that someone could do to think global and like get beyond their borders and have this global mindset? Because you make it look so easy, but I know that it's not easy for some people. Like some people never leave Brooklyn, you know, they're from Brooklyn. They want to go to France one day. Like even with the Olympics this year, they were in Paris and everyone was just like, oh, look at all these different countries. And, you know, we saw America, but there were like 86 other countries. So how can someone start? Like where can you start with getting a global mindset and realizing, hey, you're not just where you are. There's a whole big world out there.
Yeah. So I never tell people anything that I haven't done. and that I don't believe. So before I became global, I said I was global.
Mm.
So I think having a global perspective begins in the mind. You have to go beyond your borders first mentally before you can do it physically.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I understood was that I am powerful enough to impact the world. I knew that. I believe that that's how powerful I am. I believe that I have enough in me, enough light to light the entire world. And so then I just decided to do it, to be it. Be, do, have. And so I thought it first, and then I began to take actions. I think now it's so easy because we have technology. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started, it was actually like around Clubhouse time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I need to meet people. So we had social media, but then when Clubhouse, I was like, oh, I was meeting everybody. And I had friends
What?
in the world. And then I just left. It's
Mm-hmm.
really that simple. You know, so I remember just last year, I saw a conference in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be there. In my mind, I said I needed to be there. I need to meet a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Dubai to find a mentor, and I did. And she's
Oh,
amazing,
wow.
she's powerful, and she's supportive. And it all begins in the mind. So yes, you can be global, but you have to first be global mentally before you can be global physically.
Thank you for that. That's so good because you could be all over the place and still be thinking small.
Yeah.
You could be in Dubai and say, "Where they ain't got no McDonald's?"
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Where would you want to impact the world? Like next year, let's say America, boom. Okay, where else would you want Goddess Giselle to impact?
Oh my
Yeah, I'm about to tell you how easy it is.
God. Impact absolutely Nigeria
Okay.
because I am too Nigerian American.
Okay.
So I would say Nigeria. Also Brazil. I have some affinity for Brazil.
Okay.
And the United Kingdom. So the UK, like the
Okay.
London, UK area. I feel like there's also some synergy with me, and I love their music. So
Okay.
so I love the music in the UK. So before we were so connected online, I was listening to artists like Sampha, Subtract, James Blake, and I just love the music. And I didn't know that they were in the UK until I did more research. So I feel like that's another country that I would like to make an impact in, where I could be like a household name.
So wonderful. So I tell people it starts today. You don't have to wait. Like, why are you waiting to be your highest self? It literally starts right now. So you make an impact right now. So I think Goddess Giselle should have someone from the UK on your platform, someone from Nigeria on your platform, someone from Brazil on your platform. And it's as easy as going on LinkedIn, finding them and asking them to be on. And then bam, you're starting to make global impact. That's how simple it is. And then, maybe by next year, or, you start meeting more people from these places, and then you take a trip. And then all of a sudden you do a Giselle podcast in person. I don't know, but it really be that simple. We overthink it.
Wow.
We overthink it.
Now you ain't gonna charge me for that, are you? Because that was $1 million.
That was for free. That was for free. That was
good. Wow. Thank you for that, Nancy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna act. I have a cousin who's in fashion. She needs to come on the podcast and talk about fashion, because I ain't never been to Paris Fashion Week. I haven't been to some underground, it was like an underground fashion show that in Senegal for Louis Vuitton. Like, I haven't been, but they were there. So come get on this podcast and talk to me about it.
That's simple.
Oh. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I will tell y'all the truth. And some of you know me personally, but I really am a small town girl with very big mentality. But at my heart, I'm so local in my heart, because I do have a heart for for the community. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of not like a child. Okay, yeah, I was like a childhood celebrity, y'all. Fun fact, in my hometown, it was giving Disney child star, right? And no cap, like Huntsville, what's good? And I did a lot in a small, I made a huge impact. Oh, this is your wording. I'm gonna use your words. I make a huge impact in a smaller population. And then I came to Atlanta, and I've also made impacts here. But my spirit is calling me to go bigger. Like you need to light, like you said, Nancy, light the light so big, girl. They might feel it on Mars. Okay. You know we intergalactic. You know this is a cosmic conversation. You know we are in a universe and there are multiple worlds beyond the world that we can see. So keep thinking bigger. And that's why I love having these conversations, because it's just the expanded mind. The mind needs to be set free. That is it. So thank you, Nancy girl. I got my notes out. I'm not playing. I'm gonna do that tonight. Like I already have somebody in Nigeria, and I'm gonna come up with 2 more for the UK and Brazil. So thank you for that tip. That's a pro tip. You heard it here first. Let's get it. All right. So before we wrap, because girl, I feel like I could add another hour to this conversation, but I know I'm gonna be mindful of our time. Before we wrap, let's get into the LeadHERship Gala. That's the title. That's the name of it. Talk to me about what it is, and I'm gonna link the the tickets and everything in the description. But tell me about the LeadHERship Gala and what guests can expect. Me personally, I'm on my seat. My husband was like, okay, when is the LeadHERship Gala? Because we're gonna be there. So yes, men are welcome. This is woman-centered, but it's a community, like you said earlier. So talk to me about the LeadHERship Gala.
First and foremost, you can get all of the details at LeadHERshipGala.com. But if I were to summarize what this is, it is the Oscars of social impact. I'm excited this year. It's at the Thompson Hotel Buckhead. And so it's really about bringing elegance and excellence back to our community. It's about understanding the power behind a Black woman with a vision and the impact that they're making across industries. I tell people all the time, I said, women lead every day, everywhere, in every industry. And it's important that we tell their stories so they can continue to shine their light further. So this gala is really about creating a platform that brings the visibility and the attention to their work. I'm so really excited. We're celebrating trailblazHERS. So I love disruptors. I love people who have bold visions. I love people who are like, it's scary, but I got dreams to change the world. Like you had a small town girl with this big vision to just do more. Yeah. I love women like that. And we need to celebrate them so they can continue to spread their light and shine their light. But most importantly, we need resources and support. Okay. So our goal is to be able to raise money and also give the visibility to the women so they can get the support that they need. So yeah, it's amazing. We also have Allies of the Year. So this year we're honoring 3 men who will get an award. And so we have quite a few people actually. Again, you can go on the website. We'll
link it.
LeadHERshipGala.com. We have a woman from Canada by the name of Aminga Belvit. We have a woman in Nigeria. She has a fintech company. Her name is Ife. It's called Her Economy. We have girls. They're in Atlanta. Girls and Girls Give. We have, amazing women. A woman that has a STEM nonprofit impacting girls. We have, Dr. Bobby and Stefan Speaks. Amazing men doing great work. John Exum. It's amazing people, really it. So I'm excited. We also have impact advocates who are, I would say, ambassadors for change and impact, and we'll be highlighting them as well. So, it is bigger and better. We get to see amazing talent. So we brought back the saxophone player who's phenomenal. Also, we are bringing young talent. We have 2 amazing performers who their voices are amazing. So I love the fact that we're giving young girls a platform to be able to showcase their genius, their talent, their brilliance. And so I'm excited. You want to be in the room? It is, we're going to have an excellence and elegance challenge. Elegance and excellence. That's what we're bringing back. We deserve to be viewed in that light.
Yes.
Our platform is doing that.
Thank you. I love it. You heard it here first. If you haven't heard already, LeadHERship Gala. We're going to link it in the bio, but there's so much value in what she just shared. Thank you, Nancy. It's an understatement to what you're going to experience. I actually am a live testimonial here. Like, it was so powerful. And I could reference some of the more, let's just say, Hollywood stuff, but it ain't that. It's not fake. Okay, it's not scripted.
No,
This is not, it's real. It's like people who are knocking on doors, like you could touch them and they're actually doing the work. And if you go on the internet, you'll be like, whoa, but they're in person. So that raw part where it's real in real life and not some celebrity woo-woo, it's not that. And that's why I felt like I was so inspired. And my husband was so inspired and moved because it was real and raw and authentic. That's what the word is, authentic. The food was good. The vibes was there. And you get to dress up. And the Thompson Buckhead is so nice. So, girl, I already know this is gonna be on. So, okay. I gotta make sure I'm ready. I need to start picking out our outfits. Look, our outfits, because we're gonna have to step now. And it's Atlanta, so we're gonna bring it, and it's just gonna be awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. Be sure to check it out. And this is across the globe. How about that? It don't matter where you are, you need to know the date and time and be here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have an international airport, and you can make your way here. That's how she's able to assemble so many global leaders because of her network, but also because she thinks global. Like, that's the whole point of this conversation. Yeah. So, and what's the date again, just to put it out there?
November 3rd, Sunday, November 3rd, 6 p.m., Thompson Hotel. You don't want to miss it. It is a night of elegance and excellence and amazing people making real impact.
Yes. That is such a great way to close the show, Nancy. And I think that is one way to reach you. But for anyone who wants to follow you, find you, reach you, how can they do so?
All platforms, Nancy Taiye Aragbaye, my name right on this screen.
Okay.
You'll find me because I'm the only one in the world. Instagram is Visions by Nancy, LinkedIn, Nancy Taiye Aragbaye, Facebook, Nancy Taiye Aragbaye, YouTube, Nancy Taiye Aragbaye, TikTok, Visions by Nancy. So you'll find me. Also, we have Strategic Solutions Global, which is our business platform. And then you can find me through all of those. You'll message me. I'm open. I'm a real person. I'm a real person. You can
right there.
Me, and I will respond.
Yes. I mean, that's how I met her, y'all. I slid in her DMs, okay? Yeah. And that's about, what she say, being bold. Yeah. Don't think about it. Just do it. You could take a loss, but if you don't try, you won't even know if you could have actually won. So, yeah. And here we are a year later. She's on the platform. I'm going to the gala. I can't wait to get inspired even more and really just bringing all this energy that we see online into real life. Y'all, I don't have to know how she did it because it's called magic. It's called vision. Mm-hmm. Visions by Nancy, like literally. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you there on November 3rd. And again, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you guys gained so much from this episode. And with that being said, this is episode 4, a conversation with Nancy Taiye Aragbaye. Aragbaye, and you are tuning in to episode 4. Again, I'm Goddess Giselle, and thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Bye.